That's cool. We'll call this one AR Poet 1911, right? Give them one, give them the 50, the 30, the 35, the 44, the 45. Just click that together, get that thing running for him, and that's his indexes. We'll use all the video there. I'm sure there'll be a lot more of it if you want to cut more into that index or train it off of a thing, or like that's a main topic everybody was talking about at the water cooler. And the safety guy was like doctor, we'll put that one in there. I want to do a course about it, course math functions, topics that they are good with and relevant to. Is the index a kind of why the Prometheus Firestarter deal with governments? I don't know why Disney Plus doesn't like it, brother. I mean, it's pretty good. You keep it real clean. Most of that, other than, again, you bring up a case that internally to your structured society, can you handle the cases in terms of the law team? I know you got a broker. One of the reasons I did the doomsday stock market was because when that video come out a couple of days later, I hit mine and was like, that's awesome. I love that crash model. Get into the stock market, get into law. You're going to wind up doing both of those double duty when that's your detail over there. Equally like the Cuban not doing the national anthem, and then you saying to the dollars, got to vote with your dollars about not listening to certain things. And obviously the whole weapons cabinet case and the ways to play those angles up, anti-up on the market with the dollars, or which ones you choose, and the GameStop stuff that's going on for the topology on the keyhole target systems, the distance and ammo that's not, that federal, whatever that one up, anti-up is for you in that index right there. So running that Bunny Sunshine a lot of the times is figuring out that that's a shiny of a function that could skitter one way or the other, but it has common physics in that form of what that game would do or what that game theory would reference inside of there. And a tighter index really becomes later that, well, what did you want me to reference content to? And they'll give you something like real estate stock, as the start. Well, what is real estate, honestly? Volume trading? What are you talking about? Ground, buy gold, silver mine, get into the silver long game, 5-year T-note on silver, right? Whatever. You want to kick me out because you want to put a bunch of kids shows on there for ratings and stuff, or whatever the content number on it. Show me I was low on the rating. I had good ratings. It's clean content. It does show the gun case, how things work inside of the system. Middle ground players don't like that. I don't know why China wouldn't like it. I don't know why Russia wouldn't like Warrior Poet there. Other than the incident of bringing something up into the case, I think most of those other incidents were pretty solid. But if it comes up every time prime in a system, I haven't been checking your work. I haven't really been seeing what trigger notes from your battle buddy. I've been out on mission hitting the bunnies over there, brother. What am I to do? Well, all the time you got in there. I know. We'll get them tomorrow. I'll dust it off, get it up in there, and figure it out from there, because then it's at a competitive equilibrium from that station. And like I said, you hop on whatever detail of a team, and you look into the research. Oh, well, that's not a thing. Private time, private money. There's a note about the money thing when you get into the homeless game and turning plastic into a product, or finding cellophane for the first time is chemistry while looking for another result. And then saying voting with money and time on station starts to give you a million votes, where people would say, like, well, I got to shut down the entire platform to get you to get out of there in order for this to happen. And realistically, the buy platform of which one could be, because you have the overall stock numbers on the voted dollars against the market you're up against. Do you really need to stop watching basketball? As an American, when you think about Facebook and Twitter and some of those other things, you have to really consider the problem wasn't in that form. The problem had basic forming gravity on a military base. And so when the system comes over, it's about separating that inside of that time frame, right? Because you can't. That's the uniform policy on there. My thinking line about where my brain is bent and skewed to that gravity, whether the next battle buddy. But I would immediately already know the composition shares base dynamics on it relative to how things work at JP Morgan, Walt Disney headquarters, planning planes going over here. I get some of the basic model and I can handle a simple algorithm for it. But let's be fair, there's a difference between $4 billion and $30 billion, or 331 million and 3 billion. You know, how the move mechanic works would correlate to why in China I would look at the warrior poet and say, well, let me take a look at your guys's drill sergeant on the internet and which versions you allow for the house order, and then I'll start to step the mechanics out there in forms of that fire bearing system where you're worried about what I say, because these would be the physical cases, and hopefully in the system I could really show you, well, look at my home model. I mean differential to I gotta have vases and stuff. And no, for money timeline and turnovers and systems, come over here on this index and you're probably going to blend that over. You're going to give me stuff about doing that all the time. I'm putting crew and systems and people for the drills on how that thing works with charity units. And, you know, so if you do it in the charity, you know, you put that off into it. And, you know, well, that's a great idea. That's a great way to handle some of that problem. Get a stock play on it. But in charity, you're not going to go warrior poet. You're great with the corners. Do the military on the old school Sarge Mage, switched off to more of the retirement program as you build into it. Local home seed gardens. Basically, they do, and the internet expands that, and the more of that kind of trickles in. But obviously, it shares conquest notes of that idea, because it does. It always will. Ages, timelines, differentials, equations, systems, gravity wells, singularities in that system pull you under. And, you know, momentum, she could be a cruel mistress, you know, come around with the gear too heavy, too long on indexes where you didn't eat right that day, and you little woozly. Eat a Skittle. In there, you know, so that index is something I'm certainly trying to develop, and it's by watching Warrior Poet take the corners so I can see them in relationship to how that index works on M1, M2 performance from behind the glass over here. And, you know, I'm essentially the demon in the gate. I'm running around. Can I get into Warrior Poet Society? Is it the military model? I got Walt Disney Funtertainment in there. I'm in all the back row Triple Agent in here. You know, all the elements and all the temperature differentials at the supercritical phase, man. So 1911 in there, you know, I think it's a good way to throw up a good guy. Got a couple of good hand rifles, you know, which one? 1911 out? Are you going out in the wet bear for 45? Catch you on the next one.